Hello and welcome back to our Football Manager 2024 adventure with Ipswich in the 24-25 season update on the Football Manager 2024 game. Today it is part 8 of the season, directly following on from part 7. We played Newcastle and Brighton in the last episode. We lost to Newcastle in the FA Cup quite considerably by 4-0. And then we lost at Brighton by 2-0. We've had a bit of a mixed January. Started off quite well with a draw against Manchester City, so a really good point there. We beat West Ham in the FA Cup third round. And crucially, January marked the start of using a new system. We've gone to a Route 1 system. It hasn't worked at all in the last 3 games, but I'm willing to take a chance and use it in today's game because I think that away games against Newcastle and Brighton we were always going to struggle in. The Tottenham game as well we were going to struggle in, so I'm hoping that the Man City and the West Ham game in particular is more reflective of our abilities rather than some of these games that we weren't expected to win. But today's first match in particular, at home against Nottingham Forest at Bournemouth Road, is absolutely massive for our Premier League survival. Just to show you the Premier League table, most of the teams around us have already played the 24th game. Everton have just beaten Crystal Palace, so they've managed to climb out of the relegation zone. You can see at the moment we are 7 points adrift from Crystal Palace in 17th place. With our goal difference, call that 8 points. If we can beat Notts Forest today, we then get up to 12 points, putting us 4, i.e. 5 points adrift. If we lose today's game, then all of a sudden it starts to get really tricky. We're more than 6 points adrift, that's 2 wins. And I struggle to see where 3 or 4 wins are going to come for the rest of the season from there. So that is going to be difficult. Forest, it's a massive chance for us today. Forest have only won 3 games so far this year. Recently lost Nuno, he's gone to West Ham. The club haven't sacked him, he's just gone to West Ham. And you can see that Forest are in a torrid run of form, albeit they've drawn their last 2 games against relegation favourites Wolves and Bournemouth. But they're in a pretty poor run of form, only scored 2 goals in January. So it seems like this could be a good chance to get something out of Forest. We are going to persist with that Route 1 formation, but changing the personnel slightly. And we're also going to, because last time out I did realise that I was maybe a bit naive in putting the wing-backs back to just full-backs in effect there. And it probably made us a bit too defensive. A little bit like the start of the season when we were setting up a bit too defensive, allowing pressure onto us. I'm hoping that putting the wing-backs back to their normal position in that Route 1 formation, that something might change. But it's Christian Walton who's going to continue in goal. He's been pretty decent for us. Wolfenden, Matip and Tuanzebe are 3 strongest centre halves, hopefully going to shore up the defence. Wes Burns is going to play at right wing back. We've got Harry Clark, but he's not been playing that well. And Ben Johnson isn't fully fit, plus isn't that great in that position. So we're going to use Wes Burns in that position. Stefan Bajcetic, he's done decently since he's come into the club, so he's going to be at defensive midfield. Leif Davies is going to be at left back or left wing back. Sami Szmodics and Calvin Phillips are in the middle of the park, with Jack Taylor an option off the bench, as well as Sam Morsey. And then up front we've got Connor Chaplin playing as a poacher, and Kevin Gamero making his first full debut as a target forward. He's better of a deep line forward, but this tactic really relies on a target forward, so we are going to rely on Kevin Gamero to do that. So let's go ahead into this Forest game. I have to say I am really nervous about this game, because if this doesn't go well for us, then all of a sudden we are really in danger of being relegated pretty early on and being resigned to being relegated pretty early on. It's been a very tough season for us, but we are being held on at the bottom by the fact that there are a lot of teams around us. That bottom 5 or 6 has been pretty poor, so we are being kept in by that. Just check the opposition instructions are all there. I'm going to change the mentality to balanced rather than cautious, just to see if we can get something out of the game early on. I'm going to send my assistant. Funnily enough, I've been asked that question about it being my last game as Ipswich manager for about 6 games now, so clearly nothing has come to fruition yet. You can see obviously we've lost our last 3, but Forest are winless in their last 5 as well, so something has to change. Wissam Ben Yedder is a recent signing for Forest on a free transfer. He was someone we looked at, but I don't think we'd have got him. You can see, we looked at the table earlier, that bottom 6 have been really poor. Obviously we know that Forest and Everton both got points deductions at the start of the season because of the way that the game works. We have to carry over the points deductions from, if you like, what would be the normal FM24 season. So that does mask things a little bit, but we play with what we have, and Not the best start. From a set piece, crucially, our set piece coach, who I didn't think was that great anyway, Charlie Turnbull, has took a job at West Ham. So we are recruiting for a set piece coach at the moment. And to be fair, I was thinking earlier that we haven't conceded that many from set pieces recently. But that kind of books the trend. Connor Chaplin, though, straight away nearly makes it one apiece. Can we do something with this? It'd be good to get straight back into this. Bajcetic to Anzabay. Schmodix. Doesn't really go to anybody. We've fallen into the same trap of not having any of the ball. And our new signing, Kevin Gamero, has been injured 10 minutes in with a potential foot injury, which isn't great to say the least. All of our strikers that we could bring on are looking nervous, so that's wonderful. Our assistant's recommending that we bring Freddie Ladapo on. He has been known to score a few goals, so we're going to give him a team talk. I'm going to pump this and say I've got faith in you. He's still nervous, which worries me. But it hasn't changed. We've had absolutely none of the ball, and I don't know what's changed, because in the few games that we've played Route 1 in, we have had a decent amount of the ball. That is growing slightly now to 32%, but still nowhere near enough, especially against a side that we should be competing against, at least if we want to stay in the Premier League, like Forest. It's been a pretty drab first half, though. Only one shot for us, 2 shots for for Forest. It looks like it is going to go to half time at 1-0 to Forest. And to be honest, we're not creating anything at all. So I'm going to take the risk and go to a much more attacking tactic. And that is just to control possession. Might be a bit of a reckless thing to do, if you like, but we've got to try something. But we're going to stay with a similar form. We're going to stay with the same formation. We're just going to try and have a tactical change to control possession with that. So let me just arrange this so it's all tickety-boo. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Do we want to make any more changes at half-time? No, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to play it out of defence. But I think we're going to stick with that. We need to come out of the blocks and do something. In fact, want a much better display in the second half. Rather than positive, we're just going to go attacking. I feel like we just got to go for this Forest defence. Because if we've only had 2 shots, then nothing's going to come of it. And to be quite honest, the first 10 minutes of this second half hasn't given us much hope at all. Forest aren't great, and that's the frustration. Milenkovic, though, for Forest, on the edge of the box. Davis, it's going to be a penalty, this, isn't it? It looked tight. Have we got the get stuck in tactic on with this? Well, the penalty's been awarded. We haven't got get stuck in on, but if we go 2-0 down here, it could really be curtains. And we have. Well, we've got to score 2 just to get back into this. Maybe we could. See, I'm just stuck. I'm out of ideas. We've got a fluid counter attack. Maybe we change to that. Yeah, I'm just a bit lost now. Maybe those games against West Ham. I mean, the Man City one, forget that. But that game against West Ham, maybe it was a bit of a false dawn for us. We're going to make a couple of changes here. Bring Tuanzebe off. We'll put Harry Clark in at right back. And any other changes? I think we're going to leave it. I'm going to bring Jack Taylor on, because you can always guarantee Jack will have a good performance. We'll tell him to shoot more often, because he can always do something for us. And yeah, we're going to go positive. But I think if we do lose today, I really wouldn't be surprised if that's it for us. We get the ball away, Joel Matip runs onto it, but it's quite weak again. Forest are just able to keep the ball. Milenkovic, Dennis, into the area. Walton, This is shocking. It's game over, isn't it, at 3-0? We just can't seem to defend. I mean, we had 5 at the back to start with, so we had plenty of defensive reinforcements. But the fact that we've only had 2 shots in this game, we've done absolutely nothing. Forest, to be fair, have been pretty clinical. They've only had 4 shots, but they've scored from 3 of them, so good luck to them there. But if we're not going to score, which we haven't done in our last couple of games now, then we are going to struggle. And again, Forest are a team that haven't scored. So the fact that they've gone and scored 3 here at Portman Road really does speak volumes. I just hope we can get 1 back. But it has been a tough season, no doubt. It's been a really tough season for us. And I just wonder whether, the quality of players we have got... I mean, look at Forest themselves. In that it wasn't the best window for them, but when they first came into the Premier League, they had to spend a hell of a lot of money just to survive. I do wonder whether this squad just isn't good enough to survive. In Football Manager particularly. As I say, I know it's excuses, etc., but... well, we've been disallowed a goal just to add to our woes. But obviously a lot of these players were in... well, no, they were in... to be fair, they were in the Championship, weren't they, in FM24? So I don't know what I'm waffling on about, really. But I guess the fact that they were just coming into the Championship in FM24... I don't think Ipswich were expected to do much in the Championship. So maybe that jump up 2 leagues, hasn't really benefited us. And the players aren't really ready for that jump. Not too sure what the answer is. Even established players though, like Calvin Phillips, who have come in on loan, haven't really performed all that wonderfully. Leif Davis through to Ladapo. Can we at least get 1 goal? Ladapo puts it into the box for Stefan Bajcetic, who, you know what, since he's come in, he's been pretty good. I can't see us getting anything now, but why don't we just go all out for it? Stranger things have happened, haven't they? Stranger things have happened. We've got to go all out attack and see what we can get, but I don't think it's going to come to anything, to tell you the truth. We've had 5 shots. That's one thing. I mean, Forest had the penalty, so the XG game is a little bit flawed. But Forest have got a massive result in their fight down the bottom. But we just haven't been good enough. And I have to say that I'm struggling as to what to do. Still amazingly no board meeting. But yeah, 3-1 against Forest. Pretty lacklustre performance. I've tried counter-attacking. I've tried route 1. I don't think that there's any other tactical styles that will work. We've tried to stay with the route 1, but that just didn't work for us today. But I still look at back at that result against West Ham. And we were well in that match. And West Ham played a decent side. So was it just one match where we had a good game? Really difficult to know, because apart from that, I don't think we've played all that well in any game that I can think of. I think Brentford's going to be a very tricky one to get any sort of result out of. I mean, Brentford are in pretty good form. You can see that in January, a lot of green in there and a few draws. They have made it to the League Cup final. But we're going to persist. See how we get on against Brentford. I can try and put as much of a positive slant on it as possible. I think after that, not getting any points out of Forest, it's going to be difficult to survive. Let's see what Brentford brings. Wholesale changes then for this game against Brentford in the aim of just trying to get a result. Muric is back in the side. The centre-halves have stayed the same, but Ben Johnson comes in at right wing-back. He's not totally proficient at the position, but something's got to change. Sam Morse is going to be given a chance in defensive midfield. He's not played a lot for us this year. Been pretty poor for how he has played, but he's come to me kicking up a stink that he wants to start more games, and he's going to start today, so hopefully that gives him a bit of confidence and he'll put out a good performance. The midfield too is going to change. We're going to put Jack Taylor, who always puts in a good shift for us. We're going to get him to shoot more often because he does like to bag a goal. And Stefan Bajcetic is also going to play for us in midfield. And the club did tell us to drop George Hurst, but hopefully that period is over now because I think he can offer us something as a target forward. And Liam Delap is going to play with him, which means that Connor Chaplin, Sammy Schmodix and Calvin Phillips and obviously Christian Walton have all been dropped. Kevin Gamero is injured for 3 to 4 weeks, so that's him out for a while. Not ideal there. But yeah, I don't know what else we can do. We're going to persist with this route one just because we're playing away at Brentford. It seems more wise to do that away from home. I'm going to tell the lad just get out there and do show the world what you can do. We need to give the players some confidence, but equally make it clear that it's expected they do something. I've spoken to 5 or 6 players since last weekend's game just to say that their recent form hasn't been good enough, and hopefully that gives some of those players a bit of a boost. Some of those have been dropped, Calvin Phillips and Connor Chaplin being 2 of those, just to make a point to those players that we can change the team. But I do fear, and maybe unless the club are just resigned to going down themselves, I do fear this could be our last game in charge of Ipswich if we don't get some sort of result here. And as you might be able to tell, in that last game, I am starting to lose hope now that we really can do anything, because I've done all I can from a managerial perspective, and I've done all I can, and there's not really anything else I can do. Obviously, there's no players we can bring in. The transfer window's shut. All I can do is experiment with the personnel, the tactic, and to be fair, we tried a counter-attacking tactic at the start of the season which didn't work for us. So we've gone to this route one which hasn't really worked for us. So I've made all the changes I can make, and I'm a little bit stuck now. But Brentford take the lead again through a set piece. We do have an attack here though. George Hurst puts the ball into the area and nobody's there. But Jack Taylor! Oh man, you could have saved me job. Had an excellent chance. A really good chance, and Jack Taylor's form in front of goal, particularly from long shots, you'd expect him to put that away from something like 5 yards out, but well, this is ridiculous. It seems the players have lost their discipline to a degree, because we gave away 2 penalties against who was it? We gave away 2 penalties against a team, and I can't think who it is now. Was it Brighton or Newcastle? I think it was Newcastle. So that was reckless. We gave away a penalty against Forest, and we're giving away a penalty here. We can't do a lot about that, and we're 2-0 down within 15 minutes. And a change in personnel doesn't seem to have changed anything. I think the change in personnel that might be needed is a managerial change. Funnily enough, my first save on this game this year was... I just started unemployed, and I think about November there were 4 Premier League jobs all available, and I took the Wolves job. I just automatically put myself in one of those jobs that was to be taken, and it seems like on this game that it is extremely tough to get yourself out of a rut, to get yourself out of the losing form, and that seems to be clear here with Ipswich. We've done all we can, all I can think to do, and it doesn't seem to be working. I did get sacked, by the way, from Wolves as well, so it's not my first rodeo, but yeah, 2-0 down. We're not in the game, are we? Told the players to sort it out. What can I say? It feels like we have lost control. We've not. This will be 4 games without scoring. 4 games without even troubling the goal, apart from Jack Taylor's very good chance that he had in the first half. I'm almost hoping that we get the sack now, because it's going to be painful to play through the rest of the season if it's like this. And just to add to our woes, just Stefan Bajcetic now has been injured, so we'll bring Calvin Phillips on for him. make 2 changes up front. Connor Chaplin will come on, and we'll bring Ali Al-Hamadi on as a pressing forward. Leave that as it is for the moment. But yeah, 2 shots today. 2 shots, none of them on target. If you're not going to trouble the keeper, you're going to have some difficulty. I think we've accepted that we're not great at the back. But if you concede 2 and don't even have a shot, then you're going to be on the wrong end of the result every time. Poor ball that is from Sam Morsey. But he gets another chance. Ben Johnson on the right-hand side. Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips puts the ball in. Connor Chaplin puts it away. That's his first goal for 10, 12 games. And if he hadn't put that away, I would have been worried. So we are back into this at 2-1. Very much against the run of play, you would suggest. But nevertheless, let's see if we can make something of this. It is a mistake from the defender, but you just need a bit of that luck sometimes. Ben Johnson's very tired. Leif Davis is very tired. We haven't got another left back on the bench, so it's going to have to be Leif Davis who stays on. And we are going to bring... we're going to bring Luongo on for Jack Taylor, because to be fair to Luongo, he's played well for us when he's played this season as well. And he's not had the chances recently, particularly since Stefan Bajcetic came in. But could we turn this round? Connor Chaplin through on goal. Shoots it in! And that is Route 1. Hurrah! That just shows the tactic does work sometimes. Muric hoofs the ball through. The Brentford centre-back Nathan Collins missed it. Connor Chaplin chests it and scores. It feels like the FM gods might be listening. And from nothing, we've got 2 goals in quick succession. And are the FM gods going to hit back and give Brentford a 3rd goal? You better believe it. But are the FM gods going to hit back again? Because it's been checked for offside, although there did look to be a lot of players in the middle, so it has been awarded, yeah. Well. I mentioned Connor Chaplin at the start of the season would be one of our most important players. I also mentioned Amari Hutchinson would be most of our important players, but he just doesn't seem to really get into the side this season. But Connor Chaplin has got a double for us here against Brentford. We've got a couple of minutes left to see if we can do anything, but I don't think it's going to come to anything, unfortunately. Just do all we can from getting up the pitch. It looks like it's going to be another defeat. I think the 2 goals have been against the run of play, as I said. 35% of the ball. And that's going to be it. Another game where we have lost. Now I'm going to say we were a bit unlucky there. Send the assistant. And you can see Palace haven't played yet. And if Palace get a result and Bournemouth get a result, we could be well adrift. Still, haven't had another board meeting. I know the supporters are very disappointed with us. But you can see that the aim is to attempt to avoid relegation. So maybe they just won't sack us despite whatever happens. Bajcetic is out for the best of 5 weeks, which is a blow. And we've now had 8 games without a win. And in that time, I think have we lost 7 in a row now in the league? Well, no, we got that draw against City, didn't we? If we just take the FA Cup out of it. So in 7 games, 1 point. And the 2 games today were 2 that we really were trying to target to get something out of. But we've got absolutely nothing. West Ham and Southampton up next. If we're still the manager, I'll show those 2 games. But I have to say, it's looking very bleak for us now. Do the other teams play tomorrow? Sunday? Palace and Wolves both play tomorrow. So I'll quickly show what the table is like at the end of the weekend. And then I'll sign off. Well, all of our relegation rivals have played. Wolves managed to get a win yesterday. Who did Wolves play yesterday? They played against Southampton. Managed to get a win of 2-1. Palace lost 3-0. But just look at that now. Wolves have won the last 2 games against West Ham. Against West Ham and Southampton. That's correct. And just look at how the table looks now. 7 points adrift from Everton. Again, given our goal difference, that's effectively 8 points adrift. Look at the games we've got left the rest of the season. Southampton is a must-win. But looking at the rest of the games, if I just toggle the other way, because you can't see because of the webcam, if we are still in it come the end of the year, that last 3 games is going to be pivotal. But after the 2 games we've got now, Arsenal, Chelsea and Man United, I can't see us getting anything out of them. Answers on a postcard. We'll keep going until the end. And, well, it feels like if the club aren't going to act now, I don't know when they are going to react. I'm just amazed that we're still in a job, to be honest. I really am, because 9 points out of 25 games. I targeted 10 points in the first 10 games. We're 25 games in and still haven't got there yet. If you enjoyed that, leave a like down below. Comment your thoughts as well. And if we're still here, I'll see you guys for the next one. Goodbye for now.